What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, going to talk about the deck that just won North American Nationals. That would be, of course, Tech Genus. Tech Genus is a very interesting deck. Probably the most interesting thing about it is the players have taken it in a direction that is the complete opposite of how Konami built the archetype. Konami built the archetype basically to spam the Tech Genus synchros and for them to be able to hit the field at a blazingly fast speed and for you to just basically win off that. But because synchro summoning can be risky at times, and because when your Tech Genus monsters, and add Striker here because I don't have one unfortunately, when your Tech Genus monsters die by battle or by any type of effect, they search out other Tech Genus cards. They essentially become an entire archetype of Dark Souls, and that is amazing to have at your disposal. So basically, most players just run this as a quick anti-meta deck with a lot of anti-synchro plays rather than actually trying to synchro themselves, because synchro summoning can be risky and there just isn't the same benefit of having these guys versus having a ton of restriction and locking control. You know what I mean? When you look at the non-Tech Genus cards in the deck, there's the most commonly played ones. In fact, the ones that you should be playing are Reborn Tengu and King Taiga Wenhu. One's a beast warrior, which is really relevant when you get down to Horn of the Phantom Beast. I'll talk about that in a second. But they each serve their own purpose. Tengu basically provides field presence. It makes your opponent waste resources to kill it, and it just, it sits there, it absorbs damage and stuff like that, so your other monsters don't have to take that, or so that your opponent can't get to your life points. It also combos really well with Horn of the Phantom Beast, and at times you can synchro. The deck only runs one tuner consistently, that's Striker. So at times you can make, Baronic plays to push for game, but outside of that, you're really not going to be doing that many synchro plays. And then you have the ace card of ace cards, King Tiger. This is the card that can let you win a lot of games, especially if you can get it on the turn or on the field first turn. Against the biggest deck in the format, Plants, it basically just rapes everything. Lone Fire Blossom, Spore, Glow Up Bulb, Dandelion, all those cards die. Tour Guide. Your opponent's real only out to this is to summon their own Tengu. When you're basically shutting down all those cards, you're shutting down Kageki, you're shutting down Kagemusha, and basically your opponent's only out is to summon Kizan and try and swing. You're in a very good position. I've seen this card just single-handedly win games against plant players because their only consistent out to it in the main deck generally is just either Tengu or Raiko. And if you don't have those, well, you're just about to get raped. When you look at the deck, it plays a pretty standard lineup of traps and spells. As far as the non-themed ones, basically you can look at this lineup and say it was taken straight out of Gravekeepers or Blackwings, because that's just kind of how the deck rolls. Max Avarice, Max Warning, so on and so forth. One of the best things about the deck is its resistance to the power cards. Not only are the power cards going to be used less against you because players feel like they're not going to get the most out of it, but they're going to be used effectively. They're not going to be used effectively at all against you for the most part, because your TGs actually let you basically overextend. If you have these guys on the field and your opponent activates any of these, killing both of those, they actually technically went -1 because both of these guys are going to get you 2 more cards. When you add in Reborn Tengu, it's just like, 75% or 80% of your deck basically is immune to these cards. That's really, really staggering. You know what I mean? When your opponent takes their best answers, their best multi-plus cards, and you're basically able to laugh at them. When you look at the theme cards in this deck, the 2 most important ones are definitely Horn of the Phantom Beast and TG1. Horn of the Phantom Beast is just amazing. This card can be game-breaking. You can usually win off the advantage that you get. One of the most commonly played things to do if you have a Tengu face-up is for your opponent, especially if you're playing in a plant mirror match, to try and force all your Tengus out by summoning their Tengu and attacking and ramming all of them. Not only does that kill all of your Tengus, but generally they can avarice them back, and if you're not playing plants, then you might not even have avarice. Well, Horn of the Phantom Beast really shuts that down, and this can be said with King Taiga Wenhu as well, because not only will you equip that to your monster, kill their Tengu, and let you draw a card, but in addition, they're forced to summon another Tengu, so you're going to have something on the field all ready to kill. In addition, this hurts them even more because it kind of just hurts their psyche, because your opponent can't summon, they can't set things like Debris Dragon or Sangan or things that might be able to set them up for future plays, because if you just keep attacking, you're just going to be plussing every single turn. So your opponent is hesitant to even set defensive monsters on the field with the mindset of, if I do this, he's going to plus off me. So I guess it's better to take direct damage, which you should be fine with anyway. And then TG1, which is basically a themed Tech Genus creature swap, which is absolutely amazing. Basically, it's creature swap. The difference is you get to actually select the monster that you want to take, and you give your opponent a Tech Genus card, which isn't bad, because if your opponent has something like a Dandelion set and a Stardust, you can give them Werewolf, take their Stardust, and not have to worry about having to take something bad or whatever, because you're choosing what you want. And then when this card dies, like you run it over or they Dark Hole or something, guess what? You get the search again. There are some amazing combos. People don't realize it, but King Tiger Wangu actually starts a chain. So you can do plays. Let's say your opponent does actually top that Raikou and set it. You can summon Werewolf. Then you can actually activate TG1 and target your Werewolf before King Tiger kills it. King Tiger will not kill it instantly. It goes to your opponent's side of the field. You take one of their targeted monsters. Then it dies. So you'll be able to search and, further just, constrict your opponent and set up your plays for the future. Some other decent cards that you can run in this main deck, obviously the Sheen Stardust Killers, as I call them. The two basically best anti-monster synchros in the game right now, Gale and Stardust, they're just synchro destroyers. So those are two cards that you can easily splash in. And then one of the best things about this deck is its side deck conversion of Skill Drain and Barbaros. Often players will take out copies of King Tiger Wangu because plant players will heavily side against stuff like that. You can side in a card like Skill Drain and copies of Beast King Barbaros, which are going to do just as much work because Skill Drain is going to hurt them generally just as much as King Tiger. And when you add something like Beast King, you have a 1900 beater who can now go to 3000, but guess what? He's a Beast Warrior. You can equip Horn of the Phantom Beast to him, and now you could potentially have a 3800 King Tiger. Are you kidding me? Who's just walking around beating face and your opponent can't get rid of. So overall, I think Tech Genus is a very good deck. One of the main reasons why it's so good right now is because it curb stomps plants, kind of like how Gravekeepers used to do a couple of formats ago, or like last format. And I would say that the deck's weakness is Six Samurai because Xian can definitely hurt the deck. However, when you look at TG1, you can easily get your opponent to, force negate. Like maybe you activate Dark Hole on your opponent. They negate with Sheen. Summon Werewolf, activate TG1, take their Sheen, freaking Prison Rape. Are you kidding me? Get out of here. This deck can also actually make Sheen because you play TG Striker, who is a warrior. So let's say that you special summon TG Striker. Your opponent has like a Kageki on the field. Summon this guy, TG1, take their Kageki, make your own Sheen, auto win. Good night. So let me know what you guys think of Tech Genus. I think that the deck is amazing. I think as far as playability for the rest of the format, I think that they're very anti-synchro and they're very anti-meta. So they can definitely battle with the best of them. Their matchup versus anti-meta decks is amazing because a lot of anti-meta decks like Gravekeepers, they rely on cards like Descendant to do a lot of work, but Descendant has, very limited abilities. When you kill monsters with Descendant using his effect, then your opponent is just going to search. So I think Tech Genus is definitely tier 1, and I think it will be for the rest of the format. Let me know what you guys think.